Hasbulla and Ali Abdelaziz were sharing a lighthearted moment backstage when the playful chaos suddenly began. Hasbulla stepped forward with a determined expression, clearly ready to show his competitive spirit. Without hesitation, he launched a series of mock punches toward Ali, who immediately burst into laughter. The atmosphere shifted from casual conversation to pure entertainment as everyone around them watched with amusement. Ali tried to lightly defend himself, raising his hands and stepping back as Hasbulla advanced with quick, precise movements. The punches were gentle and playful, but Hasbulla delivered them with full confidence, acting as if he were in a real fight. His focus and energy only made the moment funnier, while Ali continued to laugh and react dramatically to every strike. The room echoed with laughter as spectators encouraged the playful matchup. Someone jokingly warned, "Be careful, bro," as Hasbulla continued pressing forward, clearly committed to winning this friendly exchange. Ali stumbled back while laughing, pretending to be overwhelmed by Hasbulla's performance, adding to the entertainment. Hasbulla paused for a moment, looked up with pride, and then playfully struck again, as if proving his dominance. Ali leaned forward and smiled, acknowledging that he had no answer for Hasbulla's determination. Everyone watching enjoyed the lighthearted banter, knowing the moment wasn't serious, but the chemistry between them made it feel like a comedic sparring session. The energy in the room remained high as both continued their playful roles. Ali pretending to be the outmatched fighter, and Hasbulla acting like a fierce undefeated champion. Their natural comedic timing and bond were evident, and the group couldn't help but appreciate how effortlessly they entertained everyone present. By the end of the exchange, Ali raised his hands to signal mock surrender, still laughing as Hasbulla stood proudly, satisfied with his playful victory. The moment highlighted the fun personalities of both men, turning an ordinary interaction into an unforgettable scene filled with laughter, entertainment, and good-natured competitiveness. Their friendly dynamic reinforced why fans enjoy their public appearances, because they always bring authenticity, humor, and positive energy wherever they go. Changled, also known as John Pork, offered a detailed explanation of why he confronted Dylan Donies at UFC 322. According to him, the situation had been building for some time. Leading up to the event, Dylan Donies repeatedly targeted Islam Makhachev on social media, taking constant verbal shots and trying to provoke a reaction. Changled said that for him and many others, this was not something that could simply be brushed aside. He explained that disrespectful comments, especially those involving family or personal values, cross a line that should not be ignored. Speaking in an interview with Red Corner MMA, Changled pointed to the visible marks on his face and explained that they came from the altercation. He mentioned a scratch he believed was caused by Dylan's tooth and a bump he received during the exchange. He made it clear that he felt his response was justified and that, in his opinion, Dylan actually deserved more for the things he had said. Changled emphasized that the confrontation was not about starting trouble for the sake of attention, but rather about standing up for principles that he believes deeply in. He further explained that where he comes from, words carry weight, and people are expected to take responsibility for what they say. If someone chooses to insult others, they must also be prepared to face the consequences. That, according to him, is the core of their way of life. Respect is given, but disrespect is answered. Changled contrasted that mindset with what he perceives in other cultures, saying that in some places people can say anything they want, even insulting someone's family, and there are no consequences or expectations of accountability. To him, that mentality is unacceptable. Changled maintained that the incident was not driven by personal hatred, but rather by a need to defend values he considers sacred. He felt that Dylan's behavior had gone too far, and ignoring it would mean accepting it. That was something he could not do. He expressed a desire for fighters and public figures to remember that words matter, that actions have meaning, and that respect should be mutual. For Changled, the confrontation was not just a physical exchange. It was a statement that certain boundaries should not be crossed, and when they are, accountability will follow. Kamaru Usman discussed the possibility of facing Islam Makhachev and spoke candidly about why he considers Islam one of the most difficult matchups in the sport. According to Usman, the reason Islam is such a dangerous opponent is because he has virtually no weaknesses. He emphasized that his opinion was not exaggerated praise or an attempt to flatter Islam, but simply an honest assessment of what he sees when analyzing the champion's skill set. To him, Islam is the type of fighter who performs at an elite level in every aspect of mixed martial arts, leaving almost nothing for an opponent to exploit. Usman explained that when he studies Islam, he cannot identify clear openings or flaws. Islam is an exceptional grappler, a dominant wrestler, and a highly capable striker who continues to evolve with every performance. For Usman, this creates a feeling he rarely experiences, a sense of genuine uncertainty and anticipation. He admitted that when a fighter gives him that type of feeling, when the heart rate rises and the competitive instincts switch into a higher gear, that is when the most spectacular performances tend to happen. He said the last time he felt that level of intensity was during his first fight with Colby Covington, when he knew he was facing someone who could match his wrestling and push him in every area. Reflecting on that memory, Usman compared Covington's challenges to those Islam could present. In his words, fighting Islam means dealing with an opponent who can wrestle just as well as he can, grapple at the same level, and even though striking might not be Islam's strongest asset traditionally, he can still strike at a level equal to top competition. Usman stressed that facing someone who excels everywhere forces a fighter to search deeply, mentally and physically, to figure out how to earn victory under the most demanding circumstances. That is the environment where a true warrior lives, where instinct, preparation, and determination take over. Usman concluded by saying that if the question is which fight today would be the most competitive, he would choose a matchup with Islam Makhachev. He reiterated that Islam is great and deserves full respect, especially after his recent performance. Usman made it clear that nothing can be taken away from Islam's excellence. A fight between them would be defined by two elite competitors seeking to push each other to the absolute limit, and that is what makes it as thrilling as it is intimidating. Dana White gave his opinion on Jake Paul's upcoming boxing match against Anthony Joshua, and he did not hesitate to express his concerns. Jake Paul is now officially scheduled to box Joshua in what will be a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight bout. Originally, Paul was lined up to face Gervonta Davis, but that matchup was scrapped after Davis ran into legal issues. The promotion immediately shifted direction, leading to this unexpected and much bigger fight. The bout is set for 8 3-minute rounds, with both fighters wearing 10-ounce gloves. One significant clause in the contract requires Anthony Joshua to weigh in at 245 pounds or under, signaling that there are deliberate measures to make the matchup appear as balanced as possible. When Dana White was asked for his reaction, he made it very clear that he believes the fight is a bad idea for Jake Paul. At first, the interviewer tried to hint at the matchup by asking if he had seen the fight being scheduled for December 19 in Miami, but Dana did not immediately know which fight was being referenced. Once it became clear that the topic was Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, Dana responded quickly and directly, saying it was a bad idea, repeating himself to emphasize the seriousness of his opinion. He did not criticize the business logic behind the event. Rather, he highlighted the enormous competitive difference between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua from a boxing standpoint. Dana continued by acknowledging that the fight would generate massive attention, noting that people will tune in out of pure curiosity and spectacle. In his eyes, this match is not one fans will watch because it is a fair contest, but because people want to see what happens when Jake steps into the ring with a high-level heavyweight boxer like Joshua. The interviewer followed up by asking whether Dana would personally watch the event. Dana responded casually that he would, almost as if it was obvious. He implied that the entertainment value alone makes it difficult to ignore, regardless of how one feels about the matchup competitively. Even though Dana White disagrees with the idea of Jake Paul taking the fight, he recognizes the massive draw it will create, and he understands why the promotion chose to pursue it. The public will tune in with anticipation, and everyone already knows exactly what they are hoping to see when Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua finally meet inside the ring. Paddy Pimblett spoke highly of Islam Makhachev after UFC 322 and did not hesitate to praise the champion's performance. In his view, Islam's win further solidified his status as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he believes Islam is on track to go down as one of the greatest to ever compete in the sport. Paddy noted that there had been talk of Islam appearing at the White House later in the year, but he expects Islam to defend his welterweight belt before that commitment. The timeline leaves room for speculation, and he is very interested in seeing which opponent will be chosen next. When addressing the rumors surrounding a potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilya Topuria, Paddy said he is waiting to see whether Ilia will actually move up in weight to challenge Islam. Although Ilia has publicly expressed interest in doing so, Paddy pointed out that he has also said he wants to fight him next, making the situation unpredictable. Paddy emphasized that until decisions are officially made, no one can be certain how events will unfold. He acknowledged the long list of contenders currently positioned in the welterweight division, including Morales, Prates, and Ian Gary if he earns a win next week. He also highlighted Shavkat, who has been sitting in the #1 contender spot for almost a year and still needs to return. To Paddy, the welterweight division has become arguably even more exciting than lightweight, something he says has not happened in more than a decade. Paddy described the sport as being in a great place with several meaningful matchups available for Islam, creating an exciting stretch of months ahead for fans and fighters. As for his own career, he made it clear that he is not waiting on anyone in particular. He is ready to fight and intends to return early next year regardless of who is across the cage from him. If Ilia does not move up, Paddy said he is more than willing to face Justin Gaethje instead. He explained that there are many moving parts right now and no one will truly know what direction things are heading until Islam makes his decision on his next opponent. The uncertainty does not bother him. He is focused on staying active and confirmed that he will definitely compete early next year, no matter who the UFC selects as his opponent.